Morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Bite Time. My name is Terry Too. Today's show we call Speed will Spread the Knowledge. Today's show discusses the speed of fiber optic connections from around the world, including the United States. Also, we're going to discuss why some people, it's not so much why can't we have fiber optics with everyone? Not everyone, but a bigger population, because some people are still using coax. We'll get into all that. We'll get into why some people still want to stay on the coax instead of fiber connections, and why the United States is kind of behind other countries. We're gonna get into all that. What else we got? There's nothing going on lately. No sports or nothing like that. We have nothing going on, ladies and gentlemen. Just dreary here in Maryland, and that's it. So let's come on back and live that funk, ladies and gentlemen. All right, ladies and gentlemen, live that funk. All right, once again, my name is Terry Toot. My show is called Bite Time, and today's show will be called Speed. Speed will spread the knowledge. We're talking about the speeds of these fiber optic connections that we all have, including yours truly. I wouldn't be able to do the show if I didn't have a fiber optic connection. But we're going to talk about fiber optic connections here in the United States, but other countries that are smaller than the United States. When we get into all that, why their speeds are so much faster than the United States of America. All right. Before we go any further, we're going to say deepest sympathy to Miss Connie Francis. She was born Conchetta Rosa Maria Francanero from Newark, New Jersey, my old stomping grounds. And she was 87 years old. She had all kinds of records back in the day, Pretty Little Baby, Stupid Cupid, Who's Sorry Now. Everybody knows that song. Lipstick on Your Collar, Wishing It Was You, Mama. Um, she had an array of songs, a lot of songs, Vacation, all that. And then she did some in different languages also. So we're going to send along our deepest sympathy to Connie Francis and her family. She was 87 years old, ladies and gentlemen, 87. God bless her. She had a damn good career. And, you'll be in heaven with your brother and your other family members, and God bless her. Oh, what else we got going on? I don't see anything going on. We got what else we got going on? We have, Major League Baseball is back up and rolling. Last night was the NBA skills competition, WNBA, excuse me, WNBA skills competition last night in Indiana. Um, Caitlin Clark is not playing because she pulled a groin, so she's not playing in the actual All-Star game tomorrow. What else we got going on? NBA Summer League season is slowly coming to a grind. They're almost done. And then next thing you know, in a couple weeks, what I'm saying, a couple weeks, a few days, NFL opens up training camps. So football is right around the season. College football starts very, very soon, too, also. But other than that, I don't see anything going on, ladies and gentlemen. But let's get started with our show. So speed will spread the knowledge. So what they'll say, if you have speed, you're able to get knowledge out there, right? So good example, ladies and gentlemen. When cable TV came to the forefront, when we got it when we were kids, in 1982. We had CNN. CNN was doing shows in the bottom of a hole somewhere in a third world country live. You're like, hold up. This is live. They're in a country I've never heard of. And they're actually doing a report from there, live, satellite transmission. From that point on, I went to school and said, hey, did you see this? I saw it too. But see, here's the thing though. We saw something that was done with satellite communication and we were able to see it live. Okay. That was back in 1982. Now, things have changed. The technology has increased in a twofold. But, you say, but our internet computer connections, all right? I know some of us have the old fashioned coax. I myself have Verizon Files. And I don't think I'd be able to do a show without having Files, okay? Because the speeds on the coax are too slow. Okay. Fiber, boom. Single line communication. You can't go wrong. Okay. So in that matter, let's get started and talk about this is a scenario that this has really happened at the 48th Optical Fiber Communications Conference in San Francisco this year, March 30th to April 3rd. Japan introduced, okay, internet speeds, okay, 1.0 petabits. And that would be almost a billion is considered 1 billion 20 million megabits. So it's 3 times faster, ladies and gentlemen, from our average broadcast broadband connection. That's unbelievably fast. The Japanese have done this in the conference, okay? Don't get it twisted now. Here's the thing. They're using a 19 core fiber optic cable. It's basically the same as what we have right now. Um, they're saying that when they did the testing in this live audience, okay, it was transmitting data over 1,802 kilometers, which is 1,120 miles. And they use splitters, combiners, all the tracks, but they were able to get data across the network like that. Okay. So it's unbelievable to have something that fast pushing data. Unbelievable. That's just like turn the switch on. That's how fast it is. Okay. This is going to be happening with Japan. When these gentlemen, they already had the show. So it goes to show you that technology is really the number one communicator in the world. If I didn't have this podcast, ladies and gentlemen, I wouldn't be able to talk to people in the Netherlands, Russia, India, Canada, Netherlands. I'm not able to do that because you need speed and technology to push data out that fast. So I talked to a gentleman one time. He was from India. And I asked him, sir, where are you communicating me from? He told me he's in Bombay, India in real time. You couldn't do that in 1982 or 1983. You couldn't do that on a computer because I'm using fiber optics. And fiber does make a big difference from upload and download speeds. Like I just Googled, not Googled, but I ran a test. So if you do a speedtest.net on your fiber optic connection, my downloads are 54.19 megabits per second. My uploads are 31.02 megabits per second. So I checked it out and it said the 54.19 are really good for podcasting and 31.02 megabits per second is perfect for podcasting. All right. If I had a coax, it'll be nothing. The speeds would be slow, slower than a turtle. Excuse me, ladies and gentlemen. I gotta wipe my glasses real quick. So, on that note, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to talk about some of the countries that have speeds that are faster than the United States. Now, I will say this to your providers out there, your Verizon that I have, your AT&T, Google, who else is out there? Comcrash, Comcast. Yeah, I'm being a smart ass here because I had an issue with Comcast. Um, those are the people that can give you that have the access of providing fiber technology. But yeah, no, it really shouldn't. I understand there's that thing called capitalism, but the government can put more money into building fiber optic sites around the country where people, I don't care what your situation is, they should be able to have fiber optic connections instead of that slow coax. Okay. And it makes a big difference. So, anyway, let's do this real quick. So, I'm going to give you a list of some of the countries that are before the United States. Okay. All right. Singapore is rated is number one in the world in fiber optic connection. Um, 368.50 megabits per second. Some of the fastest speeds in the world, the fastest speed in the world. Um, the government always puts money back in to infrastructure for internet connectivity. You know, because you think about Singapore is a very expensive country, okay, and they do a lot of business with a lot of people from all over the world, okay. So, in order to keep people satisfied, say if they bring computers, you know they're gonna bring their laptops with them, and you need connections. All you do is connect, and then you have it. You're flying, okay. That's unbelievable. But I will say this: Singapore does have a population of. They're not that big of a country, but 51 million. Does that sound about right? Yeah, 51 million people in Singapore. All right. Um, but like I said, you have to realize that, like I said, Singapore's in the far east. All right. And but the government puts a lot of money into their infrastructure. They really do. Right. And it's one of the most reliable internet services in the world. Okay. United Arab Emirates, ladies and gentlemen, another country, but much, much smaller. Okay. But population 10.4 million people, speeds at 313.55 megabits per second. Let me repeat that 313.55 megabits per second. Unbelievable. That's fast. Okay. So once you got a connection there, Wi Fi, do streaming, all that stuff. Okay. In a country that's a very wealthy country. So they can have money. They're one of those big oil countries. So they're able to put more money into infrastructure. Okay. Granted, it's a small country, but they're putting money into a system, a networking of fiber optics that's going to make things faster for the people in that country. Okay. Another country. I mean, excuse me, this is not even another country. This is a city called Hong Kong, which is in China. Okay, was owned by the British, but now owned now by the Chinese government. 305, um, 305.71 megabits per second, with a population of 7.53 million people. This is just in Hong Kong, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, in Hong Kong only. Absolutely fast. Your streaming, downloads, and you can't go wrong in this city. Okay, because you got a lot. Once again, Hong Kong is a very, very, very expensive place to live, and some of the most wealthiest people in the world live in Hong Kong. So now, again, the Chinese government is putting a lot of emphasis. Plus, you still have your expats from the UK that are still living there, so they'll probably put more money in there to push out more data and the infrastructure. All right, another country, ladies and gentlemen, France, 68.29 million people. Okay, 177 megabits per second. All right, another one making fiber optic networks, better servers, um, coverage across the country, urban areas, and rural areas. That's we're going to get into all that. Okay, but yeah, so they're able to reach out to the urban areas and the very rural country areas. Okay, United States ranks seventh overall in the world. Okay, and it has a median speed of 289.34 megabits per second. Seventh in the world. That should United States should be really ahead. Okay, we have the equipment, we have the companies, but the problem is, um, it's all about money. Okay, we'll build an infrastructure. Okay, but guess what? Having cell sites over, sites over here, sites over here. What they're gonna say? Guess what? We're gonna raise your rates. And I can't be mad at them. But if you want everybody to be on the same level, it really needs to be a way where people that live in the areas such as a rural area and some in the urban areas where they're not sufficient, the urban areas are going to have more access to high speed than, let's say, the rural areas. Okay. Because there's more traffic in there. Okay. And you need a network you need control and you need infrastructure to keep those services running. Okay. A lot of us have high speed networks, 100 megabits per second. Um, and 9 out of 10 people can say that. Okay. But the problem is with our infrastructure, our system for fiber optics, it's just not enough capital going in there from the private sector. And now we're not going to, the government, our United States government will not do that now. Okay. But it's something to think about because we need high speed connections. You know, the coax is just too slow, ladies and gentlemen. It's just too slow, too slow. But I would say this: United States rates 32nd out of 38 countries for fiber internet connectivity, which is not good. And the majority of our population that has some sort of internet connection is the fixed broadband, which is coax. Okay. And like I said, we really should be ahead of this. We have companies that make servers, switches, and everything. We have that, but for some odd reason, we're behind. I get it. I get it. I get it. United States is big, granted, but I'm going to read something to you. China, okay? China, they make their own telephone gear, their own switches. Hawaii, okay? So they do phone gear for cable companies. Excuse me, for cell phone companies and all that. Here to Hawaii, they do that. So in China, okay, you ready for this? 100 to 500 megabits in urban areas, and sometimes 1,000 megabits in some large cities. So basically, like Peking, um, Macau, which is a gambling place. Okay, um, where's the other city in China where they had the Olympics? But Beijing. Okay, Peking, Beijing, um, Hong Kong. And if I'm leaving somebody out, please help me out. I apologize. But the major cities are going to have those connections. And you know that the Chinese government, communist government is going to make sure those cities have in the urban areas. But I just read up that some of the areas out in the country, in the rural areas, are getting connections. Okay, they might not get in 1,000, but they get 1, 200. Okay, it's ridiculous how big as the United States is. Why can't we have connections like they have in China and Russia? They have now. Now they're really spread out. They're bigger than the United States. Okay, so an average speed for the Russian community, but depending on where they live and everything. But the average is 87 to 89 megabits per second on a download. Uploads around 50 megabits per second. It's the same as me, basically. Okay, that we here in the United States. Ladies and gentlemen, fiber optic is the way to go. It really is. It's really, really popular. Coax, you're out. To me, you're out. Um, I'm gonna read a little something here. Fiber internet offers significantly faster speeds, symmetrical bandwidth. That's another thing too. We're gonna get into that. Okay, fibers can reach 1 gigabit per second and beyond, while coax maxes out at 1 gigabit per second for downloads, and even slower for uploads. So what is that telling you? Yeah, you're gonna get an internet connection, but it is slow. It is slow. Okay, welcome, Brian Midnight. Welcome to the show. Thank you for coming on. Um, I don't know if you've been listening, but we're talking about internet connections. Uh, why the United States is lagging, and I just want to say thank you for coming on. Okay, let's keep the party going here. All right, yeah, fiber optic is the way to go. I have it. I love it. No complaints. I know it costs a little bit more, and it does make a difference. And like I said, I have had no complaints whatsoever. I wish I'm thinking about going up even higher, but I don't think I need it right now because I'm perfect with what I have because I'm able to do this podcast talking to people like Mr. Brian Midnight here, and yeah, we really need it in the United States. I mean, I think that how does a smaller country, Singapore, United Arab Emirates, okay, people like that are able to have faster fiber optic connections. I understand there's a digital divide. I want to believe that. Yes, it costs more than the traditional coax, but I think some people just, you when you're set in yourself and you're saying, okay, I like what I have, hey, but when they see their new shiny toy, which is called fiber optic, they would change their mind in a heartbeat. Just like some of the universities, like kids that universities, they have connections that are really fast. Okay. And then you go home and you got that doggone coax, and you're like, oh my God, I gotta talk to my mother, my father, and then we can get this fiber optic because man, if I'm playing games, I'm gonna need it. Okay, because kids nowadays, even though they have um connections with their PlayStations and the Xbox, okay, if you want to run that thing like you want to, and those graphics on there are so good, you're gonna need not the coax, you need to run it with the fiber. Okay, because you those graphics, those sound cards that are built in those devices, and like I said, the graphics going to and take up a lot of power. Hold on a second. Uh, Hold on a second, everybody. Bear with me. Okay, let's just typing back. A new Mr. Listener, but yeah. So they're saying that there's a combination of things why I don't believe that, ladies and gentlemen. Like I said, if you believe that, you can speak up. You can say what you want to say. It's fine with me. But I know another thing that comes into focus too. We have companies here in the United States. So we have AT&T, Verizon, We have who else? Um, Comcast, and then we have other smaller. Um, what's the other company that's out there? Charter Communications. Okay, I get it. I get it. But you know what? I just think that if they could all get together and stop being so damn greedy, other people can have access to fiber optics. Okay, like I saying, there's always market forces. You know, those these are the only dominant ones we have. Other countries they probably have more than one. You know what I mean? And or sometimes the government has it where okay, we're allowed to have so many people. I mean, you can have get on here, right? Bam, we got you on the speeds and everything. Okay, like I said, um, with the higher population of people like let's say here, the DC, Baltimore area, New York, Philadelphia, places like that, you know, definitely could afford the higher. But there are some people there that don't want to change until it's introduced to them and they're like, wow, wow, no, man, you kidding me? Is that fast? And you know what? This is what you're gonna do. You see the tweet like that. Yeah, you want something like that. I'm like, damn, doggone right. You're gonna clap and say, man, I want that. That is my new toy. I gotta have it. And guess what? Say, for instance, you listen to music, you got fiber optics, man. Especially if you listen like music on Tidal. I have Apple Music, it makes a big difference. Coax, that music ain't sounding good at all. Okay, so you're gonna feel the veracity of the drums and all that if you got a good sound system. Even if you don't, that connections are beautiful. Okay, you download a song. Let's say, for instance, you listen on your phone or whatever you have in your house. You download that song, and you know it's coming through because guess what? You got fiber connection coming through. All right. But don't I'm sorry about screaming like that. But another thing too, if the cable if the our providers or the fiber, if they could get together and say, listen, we have this portion of the population that really wants it, but they can't really afford it. Let's do something. Let's come up with a plan where, okay, we're gonna give you like maybe 10 meg, 10 meg, okay? Up to 10 gigs, okay, where you're able to listen to music, you can download stuff. Anything more, we're gonna have to charge a little more, but just something to get their feet wet. And I guarantee you, if they can all get together and do that, it's not gonna happen because it's too much competition. All right. We don't want the government involved, but we like to see the government involved in, you know, granting these guys more bandwidth too. Oh, that's another thing we need to talk about too. But there are initiatives out there what they're trying to do. Um, they're trying to provide subsidies for some people for fiber optics. Okay, but it's no guarantee it's going to work. You know what I mean? We got the federal funding just went away. That's not going to happen anytime soon. But if they could just all get together, they really could do this. Like I said, especially bandwidth. Sometimes some of these companies really, if they really want to give you some um, more power, more bandwidth on your fiber optics, they can. But what they're going to say, we got to charge you. There's got to be a way where the big dogs can say, listen, all right, we're going to turn this up a little bit more, grab some more bandwidth. Here you go. We might raise it up maybe $5, no more. We'll keep it that way for a year or two. Okay. I wish that could happen. Oh, I wish that could happen. All right. Our backbone providers, AT&T, like I was talking about, Lumen Technologies, which used to be CenturyLink. Okay. NTT Communications, that's Japan. but they're here. Um, they're here in the United States, matter of fact, in the DC, Northern Virginia area. Okay. We have Tata Communications. I think they're from out of Brazil. Could be wrong. Verizon, of course, that's who I have. Deutsche Telekom and Cogent Communications, which is here. All right. They're another company that provide the backbone infrastructure that's pushing out data to these ISPs. Okay. But it's gonna get better, ladies and gentlemen. I just hope that the United States can come up with a system where, okay, we want to get everybody on board and get some good internet connection, And I think that makes a big difference in, you know, kids. Now, kids are going to be going back to school soon. College kids are going to be going back. Okay. You can't have a slow connection when they have, you know, they need information on a report that needs to be done. Okay. They got to do book reports. So you need to go on the internet and get that information. You can't have a slow connection because speed means, I understand speed means money, but speed means more of a productive person. Okay. And that makes a big, big difference, ladies and gentlemen. And I think that once we come together, like I said, once between the backbone providers, like I said, AT&T's, Lumen Technologies, NTT, all those companies, we could get together and come with a uniform way of getting broadband connections with the fiber optics. Hey man, we're gonna be up there number one in the world. I guarantee you. Right. And then you'll have more people say, hey, how those Americans get that connection so fast? Hey man, we got ourselves together and we got some good equipment and hey, we can do it. We can send signals, okay, from California to Maine, okay, and the same 50 megapixels, maybe 100, without going over like spending too much money. All right, it's gonna happen. I don't care too much. I don't believe in the digital divide. And I don't believe the have and have-nots. But if we could come together with the fiber, with this fiber optic companies, ladies and gentlemen, I think we can do this. It really can be done. It really can. And um, even if we had to go through different measures to do it, I think it can be done. Will it be done in my lifetime? I hope so, because I have a son, I have a granddaughter, grandson, and I want them to see the fruits of having fast internet coverage. They had tablets, okay? You get perfect example connected to the routers, okay? But even that's only kind of limited, okay? But you're still getting a signal from that Wi-Fi connection to their tablets, and I think it's great that the this is happening. So that's we didn't have that. We didn't have tablets back in the 80s. Hell, we're lucky we had the you know what we had at the time. So, but on that note, ladies and gentlemen, we're gonna end the show. And I just want to say thank you to Brian Midnight. Um, and I just want to say thank you for coming on. Really appreciate it. And I hope I didn't blow your ears off too much. And because I feel that fiber connection is really, really important. All right. I understand the coax is cheaper, but man, if you get a smell, you get a taste of that fiber optic, it makes a world of a difference. So, all right. And I just want to say thank you again, everyone that's listening around the world, um, here in the United States, North America. Thank you. Thank you again.